Hammer throw gold medalist Gwen Berry raised her fist, reminiscent of John Carlos.
People are dying in vain because this country isn't holding their end of the bargain up.
I was praying the Lord's Prayer.
Was at the podium during the national anthem when fencer Racing Bowden took a knee.
А сложившаяся ситуация вышла за рамки.
Russian athletes testing positive.
The world is in a state of unrest. The United States' presidency has seen a complete transformation with a man with foreign interference taking the Oval Office, imprisoning asylum seekers, banning Muslims, befriending dictators, launching missiles at Iran, and many other atrocities.
I believe our president is kind of trying to divide us.
Our president has the things that he said and the things that he hasn't said in the right times that we won't stand for it.
Many athletes in the United States spoke out, with two Olympic-destined athletes, fencer Racing Bowden and hammer thrower Gwen Berry, protesting at the Pan Am Games. Meanwhile, in China, the imprisonment of the indigenous Uyghurs continues, a violation of human rights that only two athletes of note have spoken out about. Arsenal midfielder Mesut Ozil and New Zealand rugby star Sonny Bill Williams posting a powerful image on social media with the caption, "It's a sad time when we choose economic benefits over humanity," referring to the Communist Nations Belt and Road Initiative, which we outlined in a previous piece. In Russia, where just years ago the Winter Olympics were held in Sochi, widely known as a summer beach town, President Vladimir Putin signed a bill into law that gives the government the right to register bloggers, journalists, and social media users as foreign agents. The International Olympic Committee, led by Thomas Bach, sees the political landscape across the world and struck down on pending athletes. Don't kneel, don't raise fists, shut up and compete, shut up and stand on the podium. Athletes are prohibited by the Olympic Charter's Rule 50 from taking a political stand in the field of play. The mission of the Olympics is to unite and not divide. We are the only event in the world that gets the entire world together in a peaceful competition, Bach said. Funny, coming from a man who worked directly for the most corrupt head of FIFA, Sepp Blatter, an understudy to former IOC President Juan Antonio Samaranch and German Horst Dassler, a man who took pleasure in bribing others to get ahead. When Bach, a former Olympic gold medalist who allegedly cheated by using a wet glove to upset the electronic sensors and gain an advantage, was named IOC president in 2013, his very first call was from Vladimir Putin. It is always, throughout history, the rich, the powerful, commanding the powerless, to follow in lockstep their governance, to strip the voices of those who can make a change through sport, and silencing those who can make a change because dissent to the 1% in this equation means subtraction. For example, Bach said, "I ask them, politicians and athletes, to respect this mission of the Olympic Games, and in order to accomplish this mission, we must be politically neutral. Otherwise, we would end up in this divisive and boycott situation." The Olympics have always been political. In 1936, Hitler's Germany hosted the Games in Berlin to show off their potential for world domination. His motive was to propagandize the Games. This was his moment. Another example, South Africa. The IOC banned the country from competition for 21 years during the apartheid era, writes The Atlantic. Furthermore, in the Cold War in 1980, the U.S. refused to compete in Moscow to protest the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. Russia returned the favor in the 1984 LA Games. Russian athletes doped, yet Bach, with close ties to the Kremlin, allowed entry by their athletes. After winning medals in Sochi, Putin's approval rating increased, garnering public support, leading to the invasion of Crimea. Please, spare me. The Olympics must remain neutral. It's crap. As George Orwell once said, sport is war minus the shooting. Forever intertwined, sports and politics are attached at the hip. Do not let the rulers inflict their diluted and for-profit motives, because to wash away the athletes' independence and dissent is the ultimate form of dictatorship, a political position in and of itself.